Hello, everyone, and welcome to our APAC SASE and SecureX webinar. So to kick things off, our focus today is to advise you in how you can remain resilient, secure, and stay ahead of the evolving cyber threats. Just to give you an overview, your hosts today are going to be David Fox, who's a Security Solutions Architect. We also have Rick Wong, who's our APAC Solutions Engineer, and Rob Acaster, who is the Asia Pacific Sales Director. So before kicking things off, just a reminder that this session is recorded and a copy will be shared with you after the webinar. We'll be hearing from Dave Fox, who will start things off with an overview of SASE, Cisco SecureX, followed by a demo. We'll then open the floor for any Q&As. Without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to David to start things off for us today.
Thank you, Marla. So as mentioned, the plan today is just to run through where we are with this evolving network and the requirements for SASE. We're going to look at the Cisco SecureX product and where that fits in and the value it can add to you. And then obviously we're going to then do the demonstration. So just to sort of kick things off with SASE. So SASE is Secure Access Service Edge, and essentially it's the movement of traditional firewalls to the service's edge. So Gartner defines this as a convergence of networking and security services, and includes sort of technologies as secure web gateway, CASB solutions, DNS protection, firewall as a service, and then the underlying network, so some form of SD-WAN, like a software-defined WAN. So essentially, we're looking at a combination of network as a service and network security as a service, and consolidating that architecture to provide the levels of security and experience required, literally from anywhere on the network, from any device. So just to dig a little bit deeper into that, the sort of the movement we've seen in the network transformation space. So traditionally, we basically had like a DC-centric network. So companies had all their infrastructure housed either in a data center or at maybe the HQ office location. And then we were seeing like MPLS networking, direct LAN extension services between sites, essentially private networking between offices, all to link back to that hub location. The hub location then had internet connectivity, and that's where your perimeter security device would sit. So we were probably seeing like a ratio of sort of like an 80-20 type relationship between internal traffic and internet traffic. Because we had the Exchange server sat in the DC, we had file storage sat in the DC. And so a lot of the traffic was remaining within the internal network. Remote workers would always use a VPN connection to connect to the DC or the HQ location and access the services that way. That's what we used to see in the traditional network, and that was probably only 5 years ago, if that. And what we're seeing now is this drive to SaaS. So all this sort of as a service requirements hosted in the cloud. I mean, you could be looking at your public cloud services, your Office 365s, your storage applications, all sitting in the internet, or you could be looking at private cloud services. So people hosting their Exchange, obviously in Office 365 in the public cloud, but in the private cloud, they might have their application servers sitting within Azure or AWS. And then we're looking at this hybrid cloud environment. And then we also see a flip. So we're actually, rather than seeing 80-20 of internal to internet, that pretty much flips on its head. We're now seeing sort of 20% traffic on the internal network and potentially up to 80 and more on the internet side of things. But it's a complete reversal of a network requirement. And those traditional networks, they just can't keep up. So we'll see a bottleneck where it goes from the internet, because all those services are now going out to the internet. So where we see that perimeter security device sat in the DC-centric model, it's just forming a bottleneck. So now we're looking at a more internet, a cloud-centric network, and security needs to change to match that evolving network. So the way we see it from a simplified point of view is that we need a new network, which is now software-defined networking. So there's solutions out there from multiple manufacturers. We're looking at Cisco, obviously, in this webinar. So we'll be talking about some of the Cisco networking solutions that form that SD-WAN. But then you've got to overlay your security as a service. So services such as firewall, secure web gateway, the cloud access security broker, and then some sort of zero trust. So Gartner actually explains this as you need to merge the control element, which being the security devices, and the networking component. And when that's converged, that's what Gartner says is your SASE solution. So from a Cisco point of view, we look at some of the architectures that are in play to form SASE. We see on that Connect side, the SD-WAN options. We've got two flavors of SD-WAN with Cisco. So we've got the Viptela-powered SD-WAN. That's sitting on the traditional Cisco ISRs with the cloud controllers. And then we've got the Meraki SD-WAN. So Meraki just with the Meraki MX devices, providing the auto VPN connection between sites. And then remote access. So both of those solutions support AnyConnect, and you can overlay Duo for zero trust. So once we've got that Connect network, we then look at merging in the control. And from a control point of view, the product we're looking at here is the cloud security. So we use Umbrella for this. An Umbrella has multiple modules. So it includes secure web gateway when you have the SIG license. You've got your firewall, DNS security, which is across the whole Umbrella product suite, and CASB. And then to get that zero trust network access, that's where we're looking at Duo. So Duo is the multi-factor authentication. And that's the way that we basically make a enforcement to analyze the device that's connecting to the network as well as the user, and ensure that there's support for that device to connect to our network. So pulling together the Connect and the control, we've got the converged network, and that's our integrated solution with Cisco. And just to overlay that, just from an observability perspective, Cisco purchased ThousandEyes, and that's like an end-to-end visibility for the network path. And what we're seeing now is that the Cisco have offerings within their switching portfolio. So in the Catalyst 9000 range of data switches, you actually get a ThousandEyes subscription included within that switch. So essentially your network can also have ThousandEyes enabled and get that end-to-end visibility. Just some of the use cases of SASE. So you can see now we've got the SD-WAN fabric connected to our campus and branch locations. That gives us access to the internet and to our SaaS and infrastructure as a service in the cloud. But then we've also got the remote worker connecting directly into the internet rather than into the office. So the use cases there, then we look at the secure remote worker and the secure edge for the office. So just looking at secure remote worker first. So we want to be able to give a seamless connection to apps and data anywhere. We want to secure the access to the internet, and we want to authenticate the users before establishing that connection. So that's where we were looking at some sort of AnyConnect solution, and whether that be connecting to like a virtual Cisco firewall or a virtual Meraki MX device. We get that AnyConnect secure connection to the private cloud. Obviously, public cloud we can access directly. And we can also then, once connected, we can access via the SD-WAN fabric into the office location. We can overlay with Duo, and then that way we can authenticate the user and ensure device health before establishing the connection. So you can see that the actual security is now at the edge. It's on the remote worker's device. It's applications that are running on there. And even with AnyConnect, you can overlay the Umbrella module within the device. So they don't even need to be connected to the VPN. So they're not even on the corporate network, but Umbrella is still protecting that device. So it's got security on the endpoint. It's secure both on and off the network. And basically we've ticked all the boxes for the secure remote worker. For the secure edge, essentially we mentioned before that now 80% of our traffic is going directly to the internet and only 20% staying on the network. So we're streamlining that connectivity to the internet, which gives us access to our public and private cloud applications. And also the SD-WAN with the auto VPN, that's getting us connectivity to each office location. Umbrella overlays SD-WAN, so it works alongside it. And we're securing basically the secure web gateway, so all traffic is being policed and monitored. And we've got secure access to applications. We've got firewalling on the direct internet access service. And that's basically the two major use cases of SASE. With all the Cisco products in the Cisco Secure Suite, we have this security research center sat behind us. So Cisco Talos is the biggest security center. So we've actually got a team of people blocking 20 billion threats daily. So you can see that's up to 20 times more than most other providers. So Talos is there, it's seeing, it's blocking, it's basically the vendor that's doing the most securing of the network. And Talos is available behind essentially all the Cisco products. So we've just given a sort of overview of a number of products there. So we've got our SD-WAN network. We're looking at Umbrella for the security side of things. We're looking at Duo for multi-factor authentication. Talos, so we've got the threat response center. So straight away, we've just reeled off 4 devices straight away. All 4 of those services, they've all got a dashboard, an administration portal. They do the monitoring, the analytics, telemetry, but you've got 4 portals. So what Cisco have done is brought along SecureX, and SecureX will pull together the information, take the feeds from those dashboards, and combine them into a single pane of glass. So you're just now looking to access SecureX and be able to basically manage the entire security portfolio. So the reason for this, so the SASE Benchmark Study that was run, so basically an analysis from the security experts within the industry, they said that 81% saw orchestration between the products as a challenge. You can see here also like 77% automation on actions, 57% the sort of time to detect critical KPIs. So there's a lot of challenges because that security industry has become so much more complex. There's like most people within the industry are saying that there's challenges that need to be addressed. So what we look for with SecureX, we're looking for an integrated and open, like a simplicity approach. We're looking for one location for visibility. We're straight away, we're addressing those concerns from the CISOs. So the 87% that said orchestration was a challenge, well, we're just bringing it all together in a single location for visibility. The automation side of things, a lot of people saying automation was a challenge. So we're maximizing operational. We're going to bring efficiency together. So the integration of all these products, the single dashboard to allow us to access the security applications. Threat response is at the core of the application. So the 57% that mentioned that it's time to react. So we're making it simple. We're running threat response, overlaying it across the portfolio. So we can actually, any of our security products can identify the problem, and then it can be pulled through into threat response. Information can be shared between all the applications within SecureX, and it just means we're faster to respond. We're going through that single portal, and we're then basically fixing up and identifying issues quicker than we were before. So we're simplifying the process. And SecureX is cloud native. So this is all just a cloud native platform. It will connect into not only Cisco, but also other manufacturers' threat feeds. And this is kind of like an overview of the platform. So as we mentioned, so SecureX, unified visibility. So we're going to get analytics, remediation, management policies. We're going to be able to do orchestration and automation. We can feed in from endpoint security, from network security, cloud operations, that can feed into the platform. And then we can also output. So we can output to your SIEM, your SOAR platform, your third-party service management platform, and intelligence reporting. So basically all the teams, your SecOps, your IT ops, your NetOps, all their applications can basically be pulled together through this SecureX. And we'll be demoing this, so you'll see this this little screen grab we've got off the platform. You'll see that in a demo environment and be able to see what's pulled through. But this is just some of the Cisco products that are added through SecureX. So we've got a number of different platforms. We're looking at network security, endpoint security, your cloud edge, and your application security. So straight away, we're looking at, 15 or so applications in the Cisco portfolio that will integrate with SecureX. And whether that be your Meraki dashboard, your Umbrella, your Duo, all of these will all pull through and give you that unified platform to manage all these security applications. As I mentioned before, it's not just Cisco. SecureX has open API integrations, so we're not just pulling information from Cisco. We can pull from Microsoft, we can output to your SIEM and SOAR applications. So you can see the operational tools there on the right. We're able to output to the likes of Splunk, to ServiceNow. You can see on the inside edge, the threat intelligence modules. We're not just receiving threat information from Cisco, we're receiving it from Microsoft, from all those, the plethora of threat intelligence modules that you see on the screen, Palo Alto, Splunk, all the rest of them. So we're pulling in information from a number of different platforms, consolidating it into SecureX. We're able to use the orchestration and automation within SecureX, but we can also output to your event management platform as well as your orchestration and automation applications. You can see Radware on there as well. So Radware, another key partner of Cisco's with their DDoS and web security, their WAP, web application firewalls. So you can see, there is a lot of integrations that are available. That's probably enough of just running through and talking. What we'll do now is we'll actually open up SecureX as a demo and just do a quick run through of some of the dashboard, of some of the key features, some of the integrations, and let you see the platform. So I'll just bring across. So hopefully now you're seeing the landing page. This is the main dashboard. So just to sort of give you an overview of what we're seeing. So over here on the left, we're seeing our applications and our integrations for the dashboard. So you can see by default, the applications such as threat response is enabled. We've got, for this demonstration, we've got integrations enabled already for AMP, for Umbrella. We've got Threat Grid enabled, the StealthWatch Enterprise enabled, and there's lots of other integrations that are available to us. So we could pull through Firepower Threat Defense, so look at our next generation firewalls, StealthWatch Cloud. We've got a number of integrations that are available to us. And then again, we've got the third-party integrations. So we mentioned a few of those earlier. The likes of Akamai are in here, Bastille Network. So you can see there's a wide variety, the Radware DDoS and WAF. You've got a wide variety of applications that can pull through. And whenever we've got an integration here, we can actually just click. We've got a launch button, so we can click to launch. So if we wanted to log into the AMP dashboard directly, we can click the launch here. Likewise for Umbrella. And I'll do some of these cross-launching in a little while when we introduce the ribbon as well. Just over on the right, we've got some news feeds. So this is opened up by default. So you might get some information like from Cisco Security, the US CERT, Talos Intelligence, that's sending us some information through. There might be a new vulnerability that's been discovered. There's a blog here about some vulnerability that's been identified, information from Duo, and you can customize this feed as required. What I'll do is I'll just close off the news feed for now, and we'll just concentrate on what we're seeing in the dashboard. So fully customizable dashboard. We've just got 2 enabled as part of this demo. And you can start to see some of the applications that are integrated in. So in this one dashboard, we've got AMP for endpoints. We're getting information pulled directly from AMP for endpoints, information pulled through from Firepower devices, Secure Cloud, Umbrella. Here's some MITRE attacks from AMP for endpoints. We can see what's coming through. So yeah, C2C attacks coming through. More Umbrella. So you can just customize this. You can shape the windows as you require, drag them around, make it so the dashboard gives you all the information you require at a single glance. And then you could have multiple ones. So if you didn't want some of the more sort of network-based outputs, then maybe you just have some of the security ones and you customize and you make a new dashboard. This one here is just for AMP for endpoints. It's actually still got firepower in, so whoever customized this probably did it wrong. So what we'd probably want to do, if this was named AMP for endpoints, we'd probably look to customize this. So we've got AMP for endpoints in. For some reason, we've also got firepower in. So let's just remove the firepower, save that. And now it is truly an AMP for endpoints dashboard. So we've just got a few windows of information coming through from AMP for endpoints. And we can just at a single glance see the endpoint security that we've got running. So that's the sort of the key sort of takeaway for this is that you can customize this. You can see that we've got AMP for endpoints here. So you've got the color coding of the little logos. You can see which applications, your umbrella information. And then, as I mentioned before, the integration. So we'll just go through and show like integrations that we've got currently in place. So you can see this demonstration's got quite a few in place already. There's some built-in ones out of the box. And then these are the ones that have been added as my integrations. And then from the available point of view, we could actually go in and configure up, CDO. We can get some free trials to look at Cisco Defense Orchestrator, pull information from that application. We can look at a number of different, like StealthWatch Cloud, and then you've got your sort of partner security tools. So again, like pulling through information from all the different threat analysis engines that are available on the market. Administration-wise, we've got our sort of users that we can add to the system. We've got the account that we've got created. And then just the usual sort of light and dark theme that everyone seems to want these days. We'll just go on to dark theme for now. So very customizable, gives you the information that you require, and that's kind of like the main view of the dashboard. What we want to talk about next is the ribbon. So the ribbon is down here at the bottom here. So whenever a integration is made into SecureX, it's basically added to the ribbon. If I open up this ribbon now, you can see I've got applications like SecureX, AMP for endpoints, Threat Grid, Umbrella, and this is copied. So every time something connects in, so Umbrella is connected in, so this ribbon is then copied to Umbrella. So if I minimize this and I actually go and launch Umbrella, I get the cross launch, the single sign on into Umbrella. And then what we should see is the ribbon appear at the bottom of the screen. So any dashboard that you're connected to, you'll get the same information. So straight away, see the umbrella is appearing at the bottom, and I can open up and see the same information. Likewise, I could do a cross launch into AMP for endpoints. And once it logs in for me, the page comes up. I should also see the ribbon at the bottom of the screen. And again, here it comes. So again, I can open that up and see the same information. The good thing with this is that we've got these great features in here. We've got the casebook, incidents, and this is uniform across. So if I was to actually open up a casebook and make some notes that I find in SecureX, I then later on, I'm in the umbrella page, I see that same casebook and see the same notes. So I can update my notes. So I might want to do a deeper dive of information from one of the other platforms. And while I'm in there, I want to update the notes. I don't have to keep jumping between them because this ribbon is now copied across all the applications. I can update all the information in whichever portal I'm in. So you've got that, again, you've got a unified single update page. That's your casebook overview. What I'll do is just go back to the main list again, and we'll just look at some incidents. So some incidents have been discovered here. So I can just go in straight away, click on an incident, and it gives me some observables. So for this incident, it looks like someone's been to a suspicious URL. So it looks like they've opened up a drink food app, possibly a malware site. It's been identified as a suspicious URL by Talos, so it's been flagged to me as an incident. From that, we can actually see some of the sightings. So we can see information sort of about that, like the internal IP. So this was the computer that connected. We can see where it came from as an initiator. We can see a public IP, so that's probably where it was in the cloud. And we can get some information straight away about the incident. So what we might want to do is, now that we've received an incident, we might actually want to go and have a look into this further. So what we can do is actually click on the investigate incident. And we can see now that we've got some options, what do we want to investigate? We can probably just go in and just select all these. Let's see what they all are and click and investigate. Straight away, it takes us into the threat response and it starts doing its analysis. Again, we're seeing the ribbon appear. So again, if we were to do an investigate and we had a casebook open, we could just open up and add notes to our casebook as required. And hopefully now, by the time I've shown you that, it's started doing the investigation. It looks like it has. There we go. So it's done an investigation. You can see the little magnifying glasses on some of these devices. So that's what it's currently investigating. To finish up, it's still doing a bit more discovery. Yeah, and it's starting doing an analysis of what's going on. So we can actually now see that, yeah, which IP address it was in the cloud that connected, which device came in there. And this is the URL that we mentioned earlier. So it's already doing some analysis. We can click on this and we can actually maybe, this URL, yeah, we know it's a bad URL. So maybe we want to actually go and block this domain. So rather than having to go into Umbrella and actually then manually enter it, we can just click to block. It looks like someone's already beat me to this and blocked it already. I've got an option to unblock. So without even logging into Umbrella, I'm just doing an analysis of a threat. I could actually just, as a single click, and actually just block that domain to make sure that no one's accessible from Umbrella straight away. But obviously it's already been done. So that's one we've missed out on. But what we might want to do is submit the URL to ThreatGrid. So what we can do is click to submit. And then straight away that URL is being passed to ThreatGrid. And it will actually update into WebEx Teams. It can do it, well, it still says Teams. We just call it the WebEx application now. It can also output to Microsoft Teams. So you can basically create a space where all your security team can communicate together and the information is passed through to there. So that is the sort of the threat response. If I go back into SecureX again, yeah, we could actually, yeah, as I mentioned, launch, cross-launch. We can look at all the dashboard. But that is the key focus. So it's the ribbons across all devices. We can have the casebook, the incidents. We can launch, cross-launch into different platforms. But we're just pulling together all the information from our security portfolio into this one platform. That's probably enough of me talking on that for now. So what I'll do is we'll flick back to the presentation for now. And at the end of the demonstration, we move now into any questions, basically. So I'll just hand back to Marla, who's been running the show, to see if any questions have come through.
Thanks, David. Yeah, so yeah, we've got a few questions that have come through. I'll just go through each of these guys and assign it to whoever is best to answer. So the first one that came in, they're asking, how easy is it to do a trial? And what are the time frames for the trial for the SecureX?
Yeah, I mean, it's a cloud solution, so it's really, really simple. For us, it takes a matter of hours for us to get it activated for clients, and the quickest way to do it is literally just get in touch with us. We'll arrange the trial to be set up. We just need to have a bit of an understanding of what you're trying to achieve and your requirements, and then from there we can tailor the trial and also the length of the trial needed to make sure that it's a successful. I'd call it proof of value rather than proof of concept, because we know it works. We just need to know and check if it works for your environment and understand how you're trying to achieve. But the long and short is it's pretty straightforward from a trial perspective. Thank you, Mala.
Beautiful. Thank you, Rob. So the second one, so they're asking, will SecureX work with legacy Cisco solutions? For example, ASAs. I'll hand this one off to David.
Yeah, thank you, Mala. So yeah, so it's going to depend on how old the equipment is. If the actual version of the ASA is a bit too low, then it's not going to be capable. But essentially, anything with a subscription is basically available to be connected into SecureX. And SecureX itself, like if you've got a subscription of any security device, you basically have SecureX available to you. So even if you've just recently got an umbrella subscription and you want to make use of SecureX, it's there. It's available to you for free. It's not a product that Cisco are charging for. So yeah, an ASA would work, but you just need to make sure you've got a subscription on that ASA.
Beautiful. Thanks, Dave. And moving on to the next one. This one is about Radware. So is Radware integrated with SecureX? Rick, could you help us with this one, please?
Yes, I can. So basically, Radware is integrated with have an integration with SecureX with a standard API. So basically, either way from both ends, they have a standard API. They can talk to each other and provide additional integration with function provided by the Radware. And also, they have the integration with the Microsoft Defender, like endpoint security as well. Altogether, the Radware can provide the visibility into the additional visibility into the encrypted traffic and provide the excellent functionality against the DDoS attack, especially protect the secured web access. For example, you have the SSL website. In general, if the attacker is encrypted all the attack into the SSL traffic, it lost the visibility. But through this integration with SecureX, Radware can provide the additional visibility against this kind of attack. So provide additional protection instead of just the general one. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Rick. I think the next one's another one for Rob. So is there a cost for the SecureX platform?
I think Dave kind of mentioned that on the second question, I believe. The short answer is no. It's available to every Cisco secure client in effect. So if you have any subscription on the security side of things, you will have access to SecureX, and highly recommend at the very least show it to your security team and give it a go, especially if it's available to you at no cost. So short answer is no.
Beautiful. Thank you, Rob. And we've got 3 more questions. So this next one is SecureX difficult to implement? So David, I think I'll give this one to you as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cloud platform, so it's not too hard, let's say. So once it's just getting your integrations in play and then basically doing the tweaks to get the right information visible to you. So the key thing to me is getting that dashboard aligned so that if you're integrating it to the likes of Umbrella and AMP for endpoints, you're getting the correct, most relevant bits of information to you straight into that dashboard. So it's not too hard. It's cloud-based, as I mentioned. The integrations are out the box. So again, not too complicated. But yeah, it's just tweaking that information, making sure it fits perfectly for your teams.
Beautiful. Thank you, Dave. And the next one, so what is the benefit of having SecureX? So I think we sort of alluded to this, but I'll ask Rick to go in a bit more detail on this one.
Of course, okay, and some details into this one. So when you have the SecureX, you can integrate it with all sorts of existing or third-party security applications. So you completed the security landscape and integrate the solution together. So it's not just across the Cisco products, also because it's industry standard API across the multiple vendors, so they can simply just extract all the useful information and integrate into one panel, just like we just demoed through the ribbon. So from single pane of glass, you can see all the informations at the just a fingertip. Just a few click, you can invest complicated solution. Complicated attack normally will take hours to have the right information. So that's a huge benefit for secure your infrastructure. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Rick. And last but not least is SecureX a SIEM solution? Dave, I'll give this one to you.
No, it's not a true SIEM because it doesn't actually store the event management. So the likes of like Splunk and Rapid7, some of those leaders in the SIEM space, that's what they do well. They actually store the events. This is more of an orchestration tool, so it's probably more leaning sort of like, because it's got the orchestration and automation for security. It's more of a SOAR than it is a SIEM.
Beautiful. And I haven't received any further questions, so that concludes our Q&A section. And we'll go on to the next slide and sort of go through what's next following this webinar.
Perfect. Yeah, and thank you, Mala, and thank you, Dave. Awesome demo and presentation. So yeah, I mean, this was meant to be give you a flavor of what SASE and SecureX can do, which, as you can see from the demo, hugely valuable. And look, if you have any further questions, or if you want to deep dive a bit more technical in this, we're more than willing to jump and have a further discussion with Rick if you want to go deep dive into the bits and bytes. But other than that, you know, thank you again to all the panelists and to everyone who attended. And yeah, please do stay in touch, and yeah, hope to speak to you very soon. Thank you very much, Mala.
Beautiful. Thank you, everyone, and have a lovely day.